All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to York River Cannabis. Today, we're just going to be doing a live stream instead of a regular video, just because I do not have the time to be in the editing room. And this seems to be working out great. But if you are new here to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you've already subscribed, don't forget to hit that like button. So hopefully, a couple more people join the live stream. Hey, CJ. But we're gonna kind of cover some news for the farm, and we'll kind of go over some other stuff that I went over last week. But yeah, so today is a really big day. I know I said it's big news for the farm, and it is. So today we submitted our application to be monetized on YouTube, which I think is a really big deal for our farm because we can get income through YouTube via the AdSense or however Google distributes funds that way. So I'm pretty excited about that, and we'll see how it goes. It could take upwards to a month for them to approve it, and chances are they may disapprove it and make us do some tweaks to the channel. I pretty much anticipate that, given that it's cannabis related. But I don't see us being like shut down or anything. At least that's the way they're approaching it right now. So that's a good thing. So yeah, I'm really excited about that monetization stuff, and we'll see how it plays out. Some other stuff, retail wise, we're starting. That's what I've been spending my time on, guys. Other than like visiting family and having family visit, this week has been slammed busy, and I haven't been able to get to my regular stuff with the farm. So retail wise has been great, and that's been my kind of focus point recently. Anytime, any spare time I have, I've been trying to focus on the retail stuff for the farm. We did get a brand new printer that can print like labels and stuff like that. So I'm excited to finally be able to start labeling our packaging. And I'm hoping that I can design the logo to be able to be printed on this printer so I don't have to constantly go third party to get the logo printed out. So hopefully that'll work out. But that's kind of been my focal point for the farm recently. Has just been all retail oriented. So as far as retail goes, we did pretty well with sales leading up to Christmas. We got some more CBD oil out. We got some more flour out. To actually, a YouTube patron bought some flour, so I do appreciate that. We got it out to him, which was cool. Always like sending it out, especially people who are from YouTube. We did some other flower sales, but all really small. We're talking 1 gram to 3.5 grams after, we did that one order of 7 grams. We did send out some dog treats, which is cool. I always like doing that. But yeah, so retail wise, we had a good week leading to Christmas. I anticipate a major slowdown going after Christmas. I just don't see the retail market maintaining what it is right now just because of the holiday season. So we'll wait and see. But if people like CBD oil, they will come back. Same thing with the flour. And we send out a good quality product, so I don't see why we wouldn't have any returning customers. But the retail outlook is, I don't know what it's going to look like after Christmas. I'm kind of anticipating a major slowdown, but that's kind of a good thing in a sense to focus on YouTube if that's where our revenue is going to be. So I'm excited to see how this whole monetization of the channel goes. But if you start seeing advertisements prior to a video, that means we actually did get monetized, and I'm sure I'll make a video about it. USDA stuff I covered in my last live stream, guys. If you haven't heard, they extended the comment period, and you can go on and comment until the end of January now. And of course, as I always do, I will leave the link to the template on our website in the chat here. I'll just put it right there now. So it's in the chat if you guys are looking for it. And of course, we'll always leave that link in the description once the video is published as just a regular video, not a live stream. In other news, the Redbeard's Alternative website did go dark, so our products are no longer available on there until that gets rebooted once everything is situated with Mike. So we're anticipating hopefully a quick recovery for that. CJ, what is the cost per acre for hemp flower? It's tough depending on what type of hemp flower you're looking to grow. If you're looking to grow like just biomass, depending on your seed provider, if you're getting $1 per seed, which is pretty cheap, then the minimum I would say the cost for just the plants themselves, you're looking at about $2,500 per acre just for seed. You got to factor in fuel, time, all that stuff, equipment wear and tear. So round up and say about $3,500 to do an acre. Because you're going to have if you're going to do irrigation, that's a whole nother added cost. So it really depends on what type of flower you're going to grow. Biomass is the cheapest. I think you could get away with dollar seeds, throw them in the ground. If you do have to weed out males, that's going to add cost and time. If you do feminized seeds, you'll be okay. And if you do clones, it'll be a lot more expensive. Clones range between $3 to $5. So if you're doing 2,500 plants per acre, that's quite a steep price. So yeah, that's about the cost per acre to do hemp flower. I would put it the cheapest you can get away with is about $3,500. But it really depends on what you're growing it for. If you're just growing it for CBD oil, you can get away with the cheaper flower. But yeah, so thanks for the question, CJ. And again, guys, I always take Q&A throughout the live stream. So go ahead, drop your questions over in the chat, and I'll answer them. Even if they're off topic, I'll go ahead and answer them and try to get back on track as we go along. So no big deal. Thanks for the question again, CJ, and hope that information helps you. It varies, but I would say minimum 3,500, and probably maximum you want to spend on per acre is probably about $8,000 to $10,000. It really depends on your clones and your genetics. But yeah, so the USDA did their extension again. I left the template in the chat, so go ahead and check it out. And yeah, so that's been it. It's been pretty quiet. No rumors about FDA anymore. It's been kind of really quiet. And with that extension with the USDA, maybe the FDA is taking notes and they're not going to release anything quite yet. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. So let's see what else we got. Yeah, so I've just been so busy, guys. I plan on doing some more videos in the future. I got some trim bag video, and I've got a magic butter review video that I have to do. That's already been recorded. I just have to edit it, and editing takes forever. I mentioned last live stream, I've been working on a hemp milk recipe. I'm pretty much almost ready to film it and put it on the channel. I think you guys will love it. For those of you that like, using hemp as a whole, like if you use CBD oil, if you use hemp seeds in your shakes, or if you eat them, it'll be a great recipe for you if you want to get off of almond milk and you want to make your own hemp milk at home. Definitely a cool recipe to have in your back pocket. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get that nailed down and put that on the channel pretty soon. So look for those videos coming up. I got to have some time. That's the only thing right now. As far as the farm stuff goes, I already mentioned monetization. Retail's been pretty good, but anticipating a slowdown. Now, we did, in my other spare time that I'm not worried about retail, I have been talking to a few companies about growing hemp in 2020. We did receive some gifts from a company, so I'll share that with you guys in a second. Plants tested at 0.7 THC. Well, so Scott, so you're saying my plants tested at 0.7 total THC. They're still here. They're fine. And as far as I'm concerned, they're still legal. Their Delta 9 was at 0.13. So there wasn't the legal. Let me correct myself. Legally, there's nothing wrong with those plants. 0.7 THC total is, as of right now, obviously with the USDA laws, there's a gray area. But again, guys, I will point to you that the law still says Delta 9. I wasn't tested by the state, and I have absolutely no reason to self-disclose. And there's still stuff on the market that's testing well above zero point 0.7. So yeah, those plants were harvested and bagged up, and that's it. So yeah, it's it's a gray area, but as of right now, there's technically no law saying that those plants are illegal, and that's the way I'm going to look at it from here. All of our CBD oil is testing well below the zero point 0.7 THC, which again begs the question: does it even matter? Like when those plants are coming in at 0.7, 0.5, 0.6, and now they're trying to make it 0.3 total, which is unreachable. Does it even matter if they're going to be processed for oil? Because the THC is almost non-existent. It cooks off, essentially. It just cooks off. So, yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, the plants are still, I still have all their material, and I still make stuff with them. All the strain. So Scott, to answer your second question, all strains are testing hot. I had somebody on the chat last time. His name is John. I've been back and forth with him on email. I actually have to get back to him. Where he said most people in Wisconsin tested okay, but their CBD numbers were low. Like they had 13%, and they were testing underneath the 0.3 THC, which is really good. But yeah, almost all the strains are going to test that way as of right now. That's the big pushback. That's why everybody's fighting the USDA regulations right now, is because all the strains. I mean, all my strains, for instance, cherry wine tested the hottest. So hello from the UK. Hello from the US. Glad you joined the chat. But yeah, Scott, to answer your question, all my strains are they test higher. The cherry wine seems to be the most stable, but yet we had a genetic that tested a little hotter than some of the other ones. But we pheno hunted the cherry wine, so we did select two of the plants that were very well below, but we had a few of them that tested too hot, and we ended up destroying them because I just didn't want to deal with them. Not that they were super hot or anything. It wasn't just wasn't worth my time to deal with them. So to answer your question, cherry wine is the one that we had the most problem with, and then behind that was probably T1, but the flower really sucked on that one. It was too dense and held mold, so it wasn't a good plan. And if you're looking at strains, the most stable is cherry wine, but it wasn't bred for 0.3 total. None of them were. So it's at your own risk at this point. And the only thing I can say is cut them early and make sure that you don't give them too much nitrogen. Try to actually starve them of nitrogen, and you'll probably get better numbers because the nitrogen can make the plant go hot. So make sure that your nitrogen numbers are fairly low, and I think you might not have as many problems. We gave them all kinds of nutrients over the summer, so we were giving them coast of Maine stuff all summer long, and they were loving it. I mean, we had 8.5 foot tall plants, so we had 3 pounds per plant on some of the varieties. Diamond Press, how's it going? Hey, CJ, thanks. Southern Motorway Grower, Gorilla Grown in the UK. Dang. All right. Well, I'm glad you've been following along, and thank you for following. And you guys have just joined in. Yeah. So I want to thank all you guys. We put our application in to be monetized. The channel is currently going through the review process. So we will hear back from Google to see if we will start monetizing our videos, which is fantastic. So all because of people like you, Southern Grower, just following along. That helps us out quite a bit, and hopefully we'll have a new revenue stream for the farm to keep us going, especially during these turmoilous times that we have with hemp. But hopefully we're getting into the clear. But before I answer Scott's question, so growing in 2020, that's the other focus that I've been doing in my few amount of time that I have, spare time that I have, other than focusing on retail. I have been talking to a couple companies that we're going to work with over the 2020 growth season and use their product, kind of like what we did in 2019. But I'm going to definitely start narrowing it down. So we talked to a company that we used pretty much throughout the growth season. Clifford from Hawaii. Dang, man, he's living a good life over there in Hawaii. Hey, it's 60 degrees here in Virginia today, so I can't complain too much. Plants are loving it. They're in the greenhouse. It's almost 80 degrees in there today. But anyway, back on topic. So we actually got some product here that we haven't had, and I'm excited because one of these products we'll be using very soon. So Microbe Life hydroponics. Let me show you guys. So this is their root dip. So we'll be using some of that on the clones. So when we get the clones, we'll root dip them, and that'll be kind of cool to see how that product works. We haven't used their product for any kind of root dipping. And then of course we got this, which we used all summer last year, which is the Microwave Hydro Photosynthesis Plus. So we'll be adding that. This is irrigation system stuff, so I like it. So yeah, so we've been working with a couple companies. Of course, our friends at Coast of Maine, we're always working with them. So nothing new there. We will have some Coast of Maine stuff. Let's see, 4 degrees in the UK. Well, that's Celsius though, but it's still probably colder where you are than it is here. Diamond Press, good stuff. Yeah, both Coast of Maine and the Photosynthesis Plus from Microbe Life. You guys again haven't checked out. So we've been working with some companies just to bring some stuff to the farm for 2020. I'm excited about the Photosynthesis Plus. I saw decent results with that. It worked well with the fish shit and Mammoth P. So, you know, I'm excited to have some of that at least ready to go beginning of the season. We'll see. I'll talk to other companies. Of course, like I said, Coast of Maine, always around with us. We've got a bunch of stuff lined up with them. We'll be using, you know, all soil amendments, the lobster meal, the fishbone meal, the kelp meal. I just didn't bring any of the Coast of Maine stuff with me, but you know, I enjoy using all their products, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, in pretty much all my experiments, Coast of Maine stuff did well. So you can definitely anticipate seeing that in 2020. So yeah, so that's what I've been kind of doing. Of course, you know, you see the grow light videos, guys. I got another grow light that showed up last week. I got to do another video on, but I probably will be my last grow light video for a while. I've got plenty of them in the greenhouse, and you know, it's just clogging up the channel a little bit. You know, trying to get those videos out for those folks, and it's been great. But the greenhouse has got about 4 or 5 lights in it now, and for the amount of plants that I have, it's like it's not really worth doing another one unless it's a really nice grow light. But you don't have to worry about any more grow light videos after this next one, probably for a while. Let me hit up the chat here. Diamond Press, yeah, so good stuff about Coast of Maine and Photo Plus, all good things. I think that company is from Michigan. Are they from Michigan? It says Florida. At least on this bottle, it says Florida. Cape Coral, Florida, Photosynthesis Plus. But I'll check this one. Maybe they make things in different areas. Hell, they don't even sell this one in certain states. They can't sell it in Arkansas, California, Hawaii. Sorry, Hawaii. Minnesota, Kansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Oregon, or South Dakota, and Canada. So this one, their root dip, is not for sale in certain states. I just saw that. So that's funny. But this one doesn't say where it's made, I don't think. It says made in the USA. Oh, no, there it is. It's in Cape Coral, Florida. So not Michigan. But I'm sure they have a distribution up in Michigan just because of the legalization up there. And I know they have several sales reps. And I've talked to one of them. His name is Tom. And the guy who I talked to for this is up in New York, and his name is Barry. So I've actually been in talks with them for a while to get some of this product to the farm. And, we got 2 gallons of product. So I'm excited to have it. And we've already used some of their stuff last summer. So it was really nice of them to send some more product our way. How about outdoor newts? Yeah, so these Southern growers. So to answer your question, yeah, so these are for the outdoor stuff. I really haven't been using too much for the greenhouse plants this winter. They've kind of been status quo. I'll probably start juicing them up a little bit more here after January as we get closer to cloning season. But most of the time I use soil amendments. So right now, the only thing that I've added to the clones outside are the Coast of Maine kelp meal and the Coast of Maine lobster meal. And the reason why I do that is because they have nitrogen in them, and the kelp meal has a lot of microbes in it, and the lobster meal is higher in nitrogen, and I want that leafy green. So that's what I've been giving them right now. That's really it. I was going to kelp spray them at one point, but with the temperature going up to like 80 today, and then down to 30 at night, it's been all over the place, and I feel like spraying them, it might hurt them if it gets any kind of cold in there. So I've just been staying away from any foliar sprays right now. And mold is something you got to worry about this time of year too. Somebody told me that. I actually did find it on one of the plants. I just I shit canned it. I got it out of the greenhouse as fast as I could. So yeah, no, nothing right now. All my outdoor stuff is Coast of Maine, is like the bulk of what I use. I also use this company up in Vermont. I actually won a contest, started using their stuff, and really took to it. And their stuff is called Cold War Organics. That's one of the bigger ones I use outside. A local guy makes some seaweed extract. It's called Getaway Mountain Hemp. That's on Instagram. I like his stuff too. So it's outdoor newts, and then of course we use fish shit, mammoth pee for microbes, and this we used this Photo Plus stuff last year. I'm trying to think. Oh, of course, our friends at Craft Buds. That's the other thing that I absolutely love. Not to go off on a tangent, but Craft Buds, I can't believe the terpene profile that these buds are holding for hemp. I mean, it's been months since their harvest. Usually they lose a little smell. They're almost like wine in a sense, where they're just getting better and better and better, and they smell better and better. And that Craft Buds terpene booster, I don't have any with me right now, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna give them a drop. They growcraftbuds.com is our friend Spencer, and he actually, I'm going to get to the questions in the chat in a second here. Let me show you guys that. So I use Craft Buds quite a bit in the irrigation system, and if you use code word York River, you'll get 15% off. So we actually work really closely with Spencer and Craft Buds. I just haven't gotten around to talking to him recently. I've just been so busy. I really remind me to get back to him. All right, so let's get back to the questions here. Clifford, there's 70 and grow all year round, harvest 4 times a year. Well, yeah, in Hawaii, I could imagine it's easy to grow. Our partner farm up in Vermont grows Maui Wowie. That's one of his favorite to grow. Obviously, it's legal up there. But yeah, so that reminds me, Hawaii, it grows up in Vermont just as good, I hope, as it grows in Hawaii, which is cool. So, Maui Wowie. Southern grower, lighting is fantastic. So when it comes to lighting, I haven't really, to be honest with you guys, I haven't done a ton of research on it. I put out like a questionnaire on Instagram a few months back, kind of asking about lights. Everything that I've gotten on the farm for like exchange for videos or anything like that, and I always tell you guys that, has all been LED. And I got to say, out of all the LED lights that I've gotten in the mail, excluding the one I just got because I haven't plugged it in yet, The Spider Farm SF1000 is by far superior to all the other lights. So there is definitely a difference in lights. I just haven't done enough research. But honestly, guys, all I'm doing is keeping these things alive all winter to grow them outside again. I'm not really doing any indoor harvest. The money's just not there for it. Just trying to keep them alive. Keep it warm enough in there to keep them growing, keep them alive, and so that I can clone them come spring. And I will be cloning them. Oh God, I'll probably start cloning in 6-7 weeks. So. It's coming close. 2020 is already creeping up, and of course, we'll be making videos about that stuff too. Let's see, Clifford. If I go on Amazon, I can get it because I like things on Amazon. Can't say hi in Hawaii. Okay, so Amazon, you can order. Coast of Maine, I know for a fact, is on Amazon. So the Coast of Maine products I use are on Amazon. I'm not sure. I can go on Amazon right now and send you the link. I'm not sure if Craft Buds is. I'm gonna look right now. No, they're not on Amazon yet. But Coast of Maine definitely is, and you can actually get their potting soils online. But the prices of the amendments aren't bad. And I'll show you, this is what I'm using right now. I'll put it in the chat for you. So this is what I added. So there's the Amazon link for the Coast of Maine lobster meal. And if you look at their suggested stuff, they have the kelp meal on there too. And I use that right now. And you can. I think they have a whole Amazon shop if you want to look at them. But yeah, that's kind of what I use this time of year. I don't do a lot of liquid stuff just because of the temperature fluctuation inside the greenhouse. So, but yeah, all the newts and stuff. I've been obviously I mentioned Craft Buds earlier, and I gave you guys that code word. If you guys want, it's 15% off. Again, no push. I don't get any kickbacks, but I do appreciate Spencer giving all you guys a discount. I think that's really nice of him. But yeah, to go back, so we've been talking to Spencer at Craft Buds. We will eventually get some more Craft Buds on the farm. It's just been chaos. I really think after the first of the year, I'll start really nailing down what companies I'm going to be working with this year, and what you'll see on YouTube and stuff like that. Because I ran through a lot of stuff last year. I used a ton of different nutrients, and I really figured out what I like to use. I definitely figured out what I like to use. So I will be probably only working with those companies, and maybe a couple of new ones if they pop up. I'll give them a shot, but overall, I'm really, this 2020 grow season is going to be trying to get even bigger hemp plants. That's the goal. 2020, bigger hemp plants. That's the goal. And I think we can reach it just because of the amount of time we're going to have. I mean, most of my plants last year didn't get into the ground until late May, early June, and some of them even got late June. So I think if this year I already have a clone rooted and ready to go by the third week of April, which is my goal planting week, I think you're going to see some monsters this year. So I want to make sure that I'm hitting it home and making sure I get the right nutrients for the plants. But yeah, to go off on that tangent. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm working with those companies. I'm trying to get everything I can to the farm here. And we'll go from there. And if you guys have any suggestions of companies to use or any kind of thing, let me know. I know some companies are willing to send stuff out. Some companies, they always got to buy their stuff. And right now, the goal is to keep that bottom line, the cost of growing really low. So if I can get stuff in exchange for videos or Instagram stuff, I always do that. Just because it keeps our bottom line nice and even. So yeah, so that's one of the things I've been up to. I've also been on the never-ending search for CBG genetics, and I still can't find them. If anybody has found them, let me know. But I cannot seem to find any CBG, like nowhere to be found. It's been quite the adventure to find it. So, and the only problem is with CBG too is it's been like corner marketed, and I think I talked about it in my last live stream with somebody with Oregon CBD having those really good genetics. It's just been next to impossible to get them, and we had that little like farmer co-op where we were going to try to make a purchase and try to divvy them out, so to speak. And I think that's pretty much fallen apart at this point, which is a shame. But it's hard to get everybody on board for a purchase, of $10,000. You're going to have to pitch in X amount of money. You're going to get X amount of seeds. Some may want more, some may want less. It's just it's a great idea on paper. It just never comes to fruition usually. But yeah, go ahead and keep asking questions, guys, as I kind of go about what we're doing in 2020. And if you guys have been following along, you know that in 2020 I'm going to be doing less plants. That's just a strategic move on my part, and I'm pretty convinced that that's the best way to go about this stuff. And I don't think I'm going to get like that grow fever come April or May. You start cloning, and then you're like, oh no, maybe I'll just do more. It's like I don't see that happening. I feel like 50 is going to be our number this year. I know it's super small. I realize that that's a small grow, but just doesn't behoove me to do a lot more plants. It's more work, more money, and I don't know if the recouping cost is quite there yet. So yeah, that's what we're up to with that. Looking at my notes here, some seeds. So we were looking at seeds. So I know a lot of people were asking me about seeds. I did find that there pretty much a lot of places are now doing minimums. It's pretty hard to get small batch of seeds. So if you can find them, grab them and give them a shot. That's all I can say. And chances are you're going to pay a lot of money for them. Right now, I think a 10-pack of seeds was going for like $100. I found it one place, and I was like, that is absolutely insane. So, and I don't know if they were feminized. I couldn't remember if they're feminized or not. But 10 seeds for $100 is absolutely insane. And seeds, their genetics vary. So they may give you a COA that says, oh, it's going to meet under this amount, but don't trust it, guys. Don't trust it. Don't break the bank trying to get seeds. I don't really think it's going to be worth your while. Let's see. Yeah, so future farm stuff. Like I said, I was kind of going over that. Going down to 50 plants. We've got nutrients. We've been working with companies. I really don't see. Oh, hey, Redbeard. Thanks for joining the chat. Yeah, the going rate for on small order hemp seeds $100 for 10. Given the recouped cost of those plants. So let's say you got 10 seeds. A 95% germination rate is a good rate. So, for every 20, you're going to lose one, right? But let's say you lose one out of that 10, just germination. Then you've got to nurture that plant, and chances are a couple of them are going to be runts. Now you're down to about 5 to 6 seeds. Is it worth $100? And then to top it off, you don't know the stability of that seed. You're going to have one that grows like a weed. You're going to have one that may grow, stop, die. I don't know. Like I said, buyer beware on the $100 for 10. I realize that that's definitely the going rate right now, but just take a look at the market. Like I always tell people, take a look at the market before you make any unrash decisions. Now, if you're just a hobby grower, $100 for 10 seeds, okay, yeah, I can see If you're a hobby grower, sure, what the hell. But if you're trying to farm or experiment with genetics, makes it tough. Makes it tough. Let's see. Let's see. If you're growing for personal use, the 10 for 100 makes sense. Try to make money, then you're already up shit's creek buying 10 seeds. Yeah, I mean, again, uh, I think that I don't want to. I just think that given it's just CBD and given that it's hemp and given that you know, uh, I mean that's $10 a seed. That seems ridiculous, but you know, I mean, because you have THC strains out there going for $5 a seed, feminized. So the 10 for 10 or 10 for 100 just doesn't fly with me. But I mean, for some people, that's the way I want. That's fine. But I mean, you can go to, and I'm not going to solicit anybody to go to these other websites because it is illegal. But if you're in a legal state like Massachusetts, you can go on and find seed banks that are selling them $3-4 a seed. Hell, they give them away at shows. So I don't buy the 10 for 100, but that's just me. Clifford, what is an autoflower? Autoflower is a genetically manipulated plant that automatically flowers no matter what the light cycle is. So if you plant the plant, it's got a timeline essentially. You can't clone it, and well, I guess you could clone it, but they're all going to have the same deadline. They're all going to flower at the same time, and they're all going to be harvested at the same time. So yeah, they don't need any kind of light deprivation. They can be on the 12-12 cycle. They can be on 18-6. They can be on a 24-hour cycle. It doesn't matter. So that's pretty much an auto flower. It's in the name. It's just going to auto and flower. And a lot of times with auto flower, your yield is way less because the plant isn't a full term plant. So it typically you're talking ounces of harvest, a couple ounces, especially indoor. It's not a large yielder, but it's really good for people who don't know anything about light deprivation. If you're just starting out, auto flowers are great. As far as CBD goes, genetics are iffy on the stable genetics. But overall, I think they're great for beginners and for wintertime growing. Makes it nice because you can put them out in a greenhouse and you don't have to worry about them flowering. They'll just flower on their own. You don't have to worry about doing any kind of light deprivation. As long as your greenhouse maintains a temperature, you can use the natural light and they'll still grow. But yeah, I mean, going back to the seeds and auto flower and stuff like that, again, I'm not going to speak for anybody. I mean, everybody thinks what a fair price is and what a fair price is. But I mean, I've been in the industry as a hemp farmer for a year, but I've, known about cannabis and we've been working with that guy up in Vermont, my friend, for a while, who's been legally growing up there, and seeds have never been $10. Not, and especially for hemp. You go up to a legal state for hemp, it's gonna that's insane. Everybody will laugh at you. I think it's fool's gold. I think that's what people are selling. They're selling fool's gold. And again, I'm interpreting it from a market standpoint, and for growers that grow their own, um, you know, it, cost is fairly irrelevant. Um, let's see. You have any recommendations for procuring more reasonably priced hemp seeds? No, we don't have any discounts for seeds. We don't really work with any seed banks, Redbeard. But I mean, if that's what the going rate is, so be it. But I mean, we bought our seeds from Choice CBD out in Oregon for $2 a piece. We bought seeds from Blue Forest Farms for way less than $2 or way less than $10 a seed. Yeah, I mean they're 10 for $100 is fool's gold. I don't have any discounts. I'm not working with seed companies, and I have no ambition to, just because of the climate. And Redbeard, you know what climate I'm talking about. The genetics aren't stable; they're not there. Nope, there weren't any minimums on that on the Choice CBD, and I actually have one that I'm eyeballing for this year, which is called Cherry Struck. It's an ACDC Cherry One crossover that I plan on probably purchasing from them, but they're still sold out. I'm probably not going to see anything till after the first of the year from them. But Blue Forest Farms, Scott, you're absolutely right. They're way cheaper, and their genetics are really stable. I think they kind of hijacked some genetics from HGH, to be honest with you, but whatever. But yeah, two of our seeds were from them, or two of our strains were from Blue Forest Farms. I had good luck with the Cherry Blossom, great plant. Love their Cherry Blossom, and they had this other one. I can't remember the name of it. We ended up getting rid of it. It ended up dying in the great purge of our hemp plants when we had that heat wave. But Cherry Blossom held on, and I really enjoyed working with that plant. But yeah, I mean, it's the hemp market is a place where there's a lot of deception going on right now for people who may not know the cannabis. And I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means, guys. I'm not an expert by any means. And I tell that to everybody. But yeah, Blue Forest Farms, Cherry Blossom, Scott, if that's what you got, I had great luck with it. I pheno hunted them, and they were almost all identical. I had two that really stuck out, and I kept them, and they were cloned. So I have my Cherry Blossom clones in the greenhouse right now. And yeah, I've like I said, I'm not really seed hunting this year, so I can't tell. I'm only really looking for CBG. I take that back. I am seed hunting, but I'm seed hunting for CBG. And if some CBD seeds come my way, then so be it. But yeah, the price should not be $10 per seed. There's plenty of seed banks that so I would say the max you should pay is $5. If anything more than $5 a seed, you got to really question somebody's motives. And because there's a company out in California or Nevada called what the hell is the name of them? Gem Hemp. And I got nothing against these guys. They're doing them. And again, everybody's business model is completely different. But I think they were charging more than $10 a seed, and they don't move seeds because you're not going to sell them for that. So the plan. So hang on, let me get to a curious cannabis connoisseur. I don't think seeds should be more than $1. Yeah. I mean, we all wish that. I think good genetics, they should charge a good price to recoup some of those costs that it takes to find those genetics. But yeah, so I don't think anybody should be charging more than $5 a seed. And to answer your question, Redbeard, the 2020 plan to remain compliant is as follows: remain compliant, harvest early if I have to, and so be it. I'm going to test way earlier this year, knowing what I'm getting into, and we're also going to have to wait and see what Virginia's plan is, and the back and forth between Virginia's plan and the USDA, and what that entails. I mean, there's no hard line evidence that any of this passes. I mean, yeah, you're going to have the testing, but they may go back to the randomized testing again, and as long as that code stands still at 0.3 delta 9 THC at a dry weight basis, they don't really have a leg to stand on. So compliance-wise, yeah, of course we're going to be compliant. We're going to do what we need to do to stay within the legal realm, and chances are it's going to be harvesting early. But with a plant with 20% CBD, even if I cut it in half, we're talking 10% CBD. So I think the genetics are there. I think my genetics are stable. Also have to be careful with the nitrogen this year. So to remain compliant, you'll see me use a lot less nitrogen and a lot more probably like what you see here, like the Photo Plus, photosynthesis plus, stuff like that, microbes to kind of let the plant do its thing in the ground that we have. So that's my answer to that. And I mean, Redbeard, you know how it is. You know how it is. So, curious cannabis, an average plant can produce 10,000 seeds. Yeah, I mean, again, and I'm not going to get into a tizzy over price per seeds, but it's a ripoff. It's a ripoff, and a lot of them are ripoffs. But most of the time, it's most of the time when it comes to the seeds, I find that is where the most mind manipulation and the most just ripoffs. I mean, that's the best way to put it, guys. I mean, it's just a ripoff. Seeds are not stable genetics. And when I say that is one of those seeds could go haywire. And we had one this year. We bought compliant plants, same batch, same strain, totally different plant. Completely different. Flowered at a different time, came back with different numbers. Seeds for the price, $5 a clone comes with a COA from a reputable buyer is a good price, and I could even see clones being upwards to $10 for really good genetics. And to your point, Curious Cannabis, your plant is producing so many seeds. It's a gold mine. It's fool's gold. That's what I'm calling most seed companies. There are a few reputable out there. A lot of them make you buy minimums, but that's because they have to pay for those genetics. They're not basement growers, and they're not touting some genetic when they've never bred cannabis before in their life, and they're like, oh well, we had this good plant and this good plant, and we bred them, so we should get this good plant. That's just not the case. Most seeds, including some of the genetics I got this year, are ripoffs. And you'll find out really quick once the plant hits about a month and a half old. You'll find out what you got for sure. Let's see. Use farms in Morocco. The amount of seed that comes there, bud, is incredible. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, guys, that these plants are harvested for seed for food. So you got to think that one plant is producing quite a bit of seed for it to be valuable as a food market. And that's the same. It's the same seed production that would come from a CBD genetic. I could literally grow these big, beautiful female plants, go outside, seed them with some random male CBD plant, and I'd have a whole bunch of food seed just as much as I would growing seed. So again, the numbers are just incredible that this plant can produce an enormous amount of seed. And actually, what a lot of basement growers do, because knowing that they produce so many seeds, they actually have male pollen in like a mason jar with a Q-tip, and they only pollinate like one or two flowers. So, and then then the plant, you get some seeds, and then you also get your harvest. So that's what a lot of people do. Basement growers, I know up in like Vermont, that's what they'll do in the indoor grows. They'll put them in one tent, and they'll just use a Q-tip, and that's how you can get away with having a harvest and having seeds for the next go round. Let's see. Curious Cannabis, you can still pull off a few thousand seeds inside before. Yeah. I mean, I could do feminized seeds right now. I could go out and feminize one of my plants. It's not hard. I think it's silver caladium. You spray it for a few weeks, put it in light deprivation. Bam, you got yourself a female male. You can pollinate another plant, and next thing you know, you've got seeds. And I could do seeds. I'm choosing not to. I don't want to be involved with the seed market. If I do any seeds, it's going to be for food, because I'm finding that hemp seed is just really good for you, and it's got benefits. And it's like I said, I was going to working on that hemp milk recipe, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with hemp seed. So if I do any kind of seed, it's going to be for food. Redbeard, it's a nightmare. Yeah, I mean it's an absolute nightmare. If we're going back and talking about how to be compliant, it is. It's an absolute nightmare. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on, and it's it's a nightmare. Yeah, but my goal is to maintain compliance. Whatever state regulations they put out, I plan on being compliant. And if I'm cutting 4 weeks early this year and I'm cutting all my stuff in September, well, so be it. It is what it is. I'm finding that the retail market isn't there anyways. So you know, I'm almost becoming a hobby grower at this point. Uh, I mean, we're pretty much a hobby grow as it is with 100 plants. Cutting it back to 50, we're a glorified hobby grower. um, we probably do more business up in Vermont with the few plants that we have than the 50 down here, just because of the way the market is. Phylos is test stabilization. Let's see, stable if you purchase, unstable. Yeah, I mean, again, if you're purchasing, but how are you going to know if your supplier is giving you garbage cannabis? Curious cannabis. I mean, that's the thing that I've run into is how the hell are you going to know if you're getting something shady? And I've had great genetics. So here's a prime example. I ordered from a company. I've had some of the best, most beautiful plants come from that batch of seeds, and I had some of the worst, crappiest plants come from that same batch of seeds. But the good ones, the ones that I did get that were tested at 17% CBD, the cherry wines. I mean, so it's tough to say whether whether it's you're getting them from a reputable dealer. Do they know they're ripping you off, or have they just that's just part of the genetics? Because I mean, even when we were growing the other cannabis up in Vermont, we have a supplier, and you order the same plant. It's supposed to be coming from a seed bank. You order the same plant, whether it's Maui Wowie or Girl Scout cookie or whatever, and they look totally different. You'll have two of them that look totally different, but the flower is relatively the same. So it's all pheno hunting, and it's really it's just difficult when it comes to seeds. That's why I don't think seeds should be expensive, because there's a lot more risk involved with seeds than there are clones. Let's see, cannabis clones. Let's see, clones can go as high as $1,000 a single cut, depending on how rare. Yeah, I mean, if $1,000 per cut, it better be a really good plant. It better be super rare. But yeah, well, in clones, again, if it's cloned from a mother and you have the COA from the mother, if the mother flowered, you're going to be in that ballpark, barring manipulation of the nutrients that the soil has, because you can fluctuate those numbers, CBD or any other cannabinoid, with what's in the soil. So, again, that all fluctuates too. And I've learned that this year. You can have two identical plants, put them in two different soils, and have completely different results. And that goes for the cannabinoid profile. So that's just a word of advice that I have too, is make sure you know what you're feeding them. Let's see, Clifford, I bought a whole bunch of seeds on the Wish app and came from China. I wouldn't buy. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that, Clifford. I wouldn't buy anything from the Wish app, but look, hey, Clifford, if you want, I can tell you where I get my seeds for Vermont. Send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat real quick. I'm going to get to everybody else's questions. If you want, Clifford, I'm pretty sure they ship worldwide. I can tell you, we got some great genetics from this company, and we continue to purchase from them up in Vermont for our Vermont grow. So hit me up, Clifford, if you want. Send me an email. I'm not going to do it on YouTube just because I'm trying to get monetized here. We just put our application in. Curious Cannabis, you can purchase pounds of hemp seeds, but many times it will not fit regulation. Yeah, I mean, here, especially with the regulation being up in the air, who knows if they will? And a lot of times it's fiber hemp for food. I mean, if you're buying by the pound, But even then, I find it hard to find fiber hemp or food hemp even. Those seeds from China will make high THC. It was averaging about 15 in China. Well, I mean, if you want to order from China, I do not order stuff from China. I mean, obviously, everything we buy is from China, so I try to buy my seeds not from China. But to each his own. If you get good genetics from them, what's the difference? Every flavor from Wish and tested them all. Oh, cool. Well, uh, maybe you just had a bad batch. It happens. It happens even with the best of growers, and it happens with the best of genetics too. You can get a bad batch of seeds. They just find their way. Redbeard, when are planning to start the initial round of 2020 plants from seed? That is. As of right now, we are not doing any seed until I find some CBG genetics, and if the cherry struck become available on that one website, Choice CBD. If they become available, I will try those next year. But unless it's a CBG seed, I've got my CBD. I don't need any of these fancy names. I don't need Sour Space Candy. I don't need Lifter. And plus those are running hot as it is right now. So what I have is what you see: Biox, Cherry Wine, Auto Sweetened, Cherry Blossom. Those are my big four, and I don't plan on adding any more of them unless I'm really focused on trying to find CBG seeds. But if I do, I need to get them in the dirt probably around the 1st of March, because I like to get them outside by the 3rd week of April, because I know that they can handle cold. So at least the third week of April to the 1st week of May is when I plan on putting them in the ground. To start seeds, I'd say the 1st week of March to the 3rd week of March be the latest. I don't really want to start them in early April unless I absolutely have to. That's why I'm looking for CBG seeds right now. I'm hunting for the CBG seeds because I'd like to get them in my possession by the end of January so I can get everything started. And I may even start planting them a little bit earlier. It doesn't hurt to get them early. As long as your lights are fine, the plants will be fine. Look for high F like S6 to 10 stable genetics. Okay, you guys are talking about those Wish genetics. Yeah, I don't have any experience with purchasing from Wish. We've been buying from the same seed supplier in Vermont for years. That's all I got to say. It's only been legal for a couple of years, um, but yeah, we've been buying from the same supplier, and we've had great genetics, fantastic plants. I think our tallest Maui Wowie was over 12 feet tall. So I can say without hesitation that the genetics that we get up in Vermont are very good genetics. A couple years ago, grew a beautiful Vermont hemp, tasted like peaches. Oh, Vermont hemp. Did it come from Vermont CBD? And I think they actually do small batches now. I remember Vermont CBD, if I can find them. But yeah, they were selling seeds. I can't remember. Farming Partners about. Yeah, I'm looking to see if they have them. I don't see any seeds. No, they're all selling products now. But yeah, but there's a lot of seed suppliers up in Vermont when it comes to hemp. So speaking of Vermont hemp, yeah, there's a few of them up there that provide decent seed genetics, not for $10 a seed. And I believe a lot of those guys do small batches up there. So I don't, like I said, I don't really work with any seed companies just because I don't know which one to pick. Let's see. Have you thought about running autoflower hemp and you pull off 2 harvests in 1 year? Yeah, that actually has crossed my mind. I have looked into autoflower hemp, and in fact, I was going to do an autoflower hemp harvest this year, and I decided not to. So I got an offer from somebody to buy them for $2 a seed. It was a company out in Arizona, or maybe it was Nevada. Either way, they had posted something on Facebook. I'm part of a Facebook group, a fairly large group. It's got like 5,000 members or something like that a while ago. And yeah, I just said, I talked to my wife about it because all purchases got to go through the wife. And then I kind of like thought about it a little bit, and I saw how much flour was moving at the current time. This was back in like October that I was looking into doing a double harvest, because I'd start the auto flower probably in March. And then if they were like a 90-day harvest, you get a whole, you plant them maybe mid-March, have them indoors for about a month, and then throw them in the ground, and then harvest them late May, and then go ahead and put your regular hemp plants in after the harvest. And I thought about doing that, pulling off the 2 harvests a year. But given that I'm still sitting on pounds of hemp flower, I had no ambition to do it because, well, you got to get rid of what I have first. But if I am going to become a hobby grower, which is definitely like getting a regular job, become a hobby grower of hemp, CBD hemp, then I may try doing funny stuff like that just because. But as a farm business, no, I don't. And I don't plan on doing a double harvest. As much fun as that sounds, my bottom line has to, every time I buy something, I've got to think, can I get it in return? And right now, my confidence just isn't there to get anything back in return. I'm making money, but I'm not making a lot of money. Yeah. So, well, thank you for stopping by, Curious Cannabis. Great topics of conversation, and yeah, to go back and to talk about the seeds as a whole, it's a difficult world to navigate. Hemp in general and cannabis, because you have the shadows of the black market and the dark area of cannabis, and then you have this whole new light of cannabis with hemp, and that's legal in all 50 states. So you have these two worlds colliding, and these people over here in the dark market, the black market, are trying to take advantage of the people trying to do their job. That's the way I see it. They're trying to make a living, grow hemp, do it the right way. And then you see these people doing the get rich quick. These are the people that are doing the get rich quick. There's a lot of people in the hemp world that think that they can grow this plant, get rich quick, and move on. I knew from when I started this, it wasn't going to be like, oh, we're going to make $1 million and close up shop and move to Bahamas. It's not going to work that way. So to kind of cover that seed thing, yeah, you're going to run across people that are going to be charging way too much money for seeds. If you're buying $10 per seed, it better be coming from a place, and I hate to even say it, but it better be coming from somewhere like Monsanto. It better be coming from somewhere who has hundreds of thousands of dollars of scientific research backed up in that genetics. Hey, Big Chew, welcome to the party. But they better have like a lot of money invested in those genetics to be charging that kind of money. Because if they don't, then they're literally getting rich quick, right? They got one plant, they bred it with another plant, they give you the seed. I mean, that's how you get rich quick, And so if you're going to purchase from a company that like HGH Seed, for instance, they invest a lot of money. Same thing with Oregon CBD. They invest a lot of money into genetic research, into those plants. They grow them. They test them. They grow them again. They test them again. They probably do 4 or 5 batches of those seeds before they even sell them. And that's why a lot of those big companies do minimums, because they've got to recoup the cost of that research. That's why it's like, yeah, $10 for 100. Okay, they're recouping cost of the research, but so $10 for 100. Okay, they're catering to the small market. But even with the large purchases of seeds from the big companies that do the research and do all that, they're not charging more than $5 a seed. And so, yeah, you're doing the small batch. So, yeah, okay, you recoup the cost, but you have to question the motive sometimes. And do they have the backup of that research? Do they have the receipts? A lot of people say, show me the receipts. Well, show me the receipts that you did that research. So show me that you took the time to study those seeds, to plant those plants, to do it again and again and again, to make sure that what you're selling is actually what you're selling. And proof is when we did the soil wars this summer, that was a one-time experiment. And as a scientist, I can tell you that is not a scientifically sound experiment. There needed to be controls. There needed to be variables. There needed to be all kinds of things. I mean, we did an outdoor grow with different soils. There was not a soil there that I could speak ill of because of research, because that's not research. That's having fun. Doing an experiment is different than research. An experiment is, you're going to see what happens. A research is having a hypothesis, having an outcome, and calculating that research to have an end goal, what you want. An experiment is just like, we're going to throw some stuff around and see what happens. And I think a lot of these guys that are selling seeds are experiments, not research. So Curious Cannabis, I agree 100%. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. And again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not here to throw stones in a glass house. I'm not here to start arguments with people who want to sell their seeds for $10 a piece. It's America, man. You do, well, at least where I am. It's America, and it's a free country, so to speak, and you do whatever you want. If the market is there for you to sell $10 seeds, then go and do it. I'm just not going to do it. That's my personal choice. Not unless somebody shows me countless hours of research. That's just the way it is. That's just the way I am. But as time goes on, I've become more of a hobby grower anyways. I mean, going down to 50 plants at this point, I would consider myself a large hobby grower. I think I'm going to get out of the farm market as a general, just because I just don't see it. I have better success with the niche market, the craft, the small market, than I will ever have success with the big stuff. I think that's just the way I'm looking at it. But yeah, so show me the receipts when it comes to research. And a lot of those companies, to recoup costs, that's why they do the minimums. And I totally get it. So, it is what it is. So let's talk about some other stuff here. Oh, so speaking of seeds, one last thing. One thing I am looking into for 2020 is hemp seed for food. I'm actually thinking about doing a small plot in the greenhouse to kind of contain the pollen, to do hemp seed for food so that I can try eating hemp seeds. I think they have a lot of potential value, and there's not a lot of people doing it. The only problem with hemp seeds commercially, especially in like a smaller state like Virginia, I think out west, I think you have that, but I don't know. I might try some hemp seed for food. So hold the phone on that. I might actually be doing seed this year, but that would be a stretch. So we got some questions. Greystone. Hey, Greystone. Have you grown Biox? Yes. Depends on how you pronounce it, but yes, that is my favorite genetic that I have. So I want to, let's elaborate on Biox for a second. But I want to see Redbeard. So Cherry Wine got shipped out today to a veteran today. They said, thank you for supporting them with your donation. Well, thank you for doing that, Redbeard. I appreciate it. What you do for the veterans. So we donated some cherry wine hemp flower for that. So thank you for doing that, Redbeard. And anytime you do any kind of veteran giveaway, you contact me, and I will always have something for a veteran. So thank you for that. And I'm glad they liked it. I hope they really enjoyed it. I hope it helps them out quite a bit. Get back to you, Greystone. Yeah. So you're growing Biox too. Yeah, that was my number one genetic. It came from Triangle Hemp in North Carolina, and it was phenomenal. The only thing negative I can say about that genetic was that the bugs love it as much as I do. They really love chewing on it. We have bad caterpillars here in Virginia come late summer, early fall, and they loved chewing on some biox. But yeah, great plant. I've got a few of them in the greenhouse right now, and those are my focus for next year because they got 20% CBD this year, and I think even if I harvest them early, I think I'm gonna still get a decent number from them. Just gonna have to watch that THC, and I'm gonna have to watch the amount of nitrogen I give them. But I love them. I just absolutely love my biox. So when you have commodities grows an ancient China strain, and they eat the seeds as well. Oh, yeah. So talking about the food hemp. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm kind of like leaning towards doing some food hemp next year for 2020. It's just the only problem I'm having with it is how the hell am I going to contain that pollen? Because if I want CBD flowers, I've got to be able to contain the pollen on the plants I want for food. But one of the ways I'm thinking about doing it is those tents. They make tents that can go over rows. So if I like kind of trim the plants and keep them short, I can kind of put a tent over it and maybe put some pollen in there. I don't know how that's going to work out yet, but I'm definitely looking into it to let you in on 2020 plans, food hemp, because I'm going to be making a video about hemp milk. I've been working with it. Of course, I had to buy the hemp seeds to eat. They're all products in Canada too, which just absolutely kills me. But yeah, hemp milk. That's going to be one of the things I've been working on, and the video will come out soon. Let's see. Low THC. Yeah, Greystone, low THC. The biox that came from Triangle Hemp is low THC. Now, its totals, obviously are higher than what the USDA is requiring, but the Delta 9 was 1 point something. Or not 1 point, 0.1 something. Either 1.2 or 1.3. I can't remember, but it was low at 20%. So, like I said, the total was past what the USDA requires now, but according to the Farm Bill, it's a completely legal plant. So, again, that goes back to that whole gray area where it just gives me a damn headache trying to figure out what to do with that. I think I'm just going to harvest them early. I really don't care at this point. And depending on how the YouTube monetization works, it may just behoove me to kind of do videos and kind of, grow as a hobbyist and kind of do the experiments like Soil Wars and have fun with it instead of attempting this business model that I think is just set up for failure. Because that's kind of how I feel these days about it. I don't know. Stuff moves, but I could have grown 25 plants, been able to sell to friends, family, and friends of friends and stuff like that, and probably have been more successful. And had some peppers and tomatoes in the same grow area. I'm pretty sure the area they got the seed from is the largest concentration of cannabis. People, huh? That's neat. Do you have an article on that, Redbeard, about the seeds? I'd be interested to see that. That's pretty neat. Yeah, man, I don't know. Hemp's got so many benefits, and it's high in omega. Omega fats are just great for the body and brain. So I'm leaning towards it. Now I see your comment. You better have a greenhouse airtight or a tent. Yeah, well, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do an indoor grow of fiber hemp. I don't know. As weird as that sounds, I think the value is still in the. There's two reasons why I would do it indoor. Number one, because I don't want to piss off another farmer. Not that there's one in the area near me, but what if there is? They're going to get pollen. And the other reason is I can contain it in a tent. So I may do a grow tent of food seed. I know that sounds weird, but I think it would be fun to do. That might be the experiment of 2020 because it does have to be airtight. If you're not gonna do any kind of food or seeding for like breeding, you're gonna want to make sure that hemp stays, that pollen stays contained. So good point, Redbeard. Maybe I'll just do an indoor grow tent. Get one of those larger indoor grow tents, put it inside the greenhouse, vent it, and vent the greenhouse, not the tent, so it doesn't get too hot. Hell, that might even be an experiment to do this time of year. Maybe I should have been doing that this whole winter. I don't know. Be interesting to see how that would play out. It's always I gotta put that. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna write that down in my notes. Put that in my back pocket to do a fiber hemp, a food hemp grow for in like an indoor grow. Curious Cannabis. Yeah, I mean that's the guy I talked to up in Wisconsin, John, and I've been meaning to get back to him with an email. I've just been so damn busy. This is why we're doing live streams, but I like live streams. Yeah, they so I think they harvest early up there, is what from my understanding, because he said only 14% of people got nailed with being over the total THC, and they followed the USDA code 0.3 total decarb is what he told me. Now I haven't done any research to make sure that was what actually happened, but I believe him when he says only a handful of farmers got nailed with over 0.3. But his numbers, his CBD numbers were low. I mean, it was 13%, which is pretty low. That's if you're full-term plants, you should be getting better than 15. So I would guess that he was harvesting early to stay under the regulations. So good point with that. Yeah, growing an everyday hemp plant, growing past THC loads. Yeah, I mean, the MPK, and I know you said drop N and increase P and K at least 5 weeks. Yeah, you got to drop the nitrogen. That's one thing I discovered this year with growing the hemp. And that's why I did a lot of experiments, because it wasn't going to be the Wild Wild West forever. Everybody should have seen the writing on the wall with that one. And I did a lot of experiments with soil because I had a feeling that these plants responded to soil quite a bit. They're super absorbers. They eat everything in the soil. They're heavy eaters, good or bad. So yeah, I did a lot of experiments, and again, oh god, another person I haven't gotten back to because I've been so busy. Our friends at Sustainable Plant, who did all of our soil testing, when we did that conference call and we kind of did a consultation of how to grow giant. Hey, you're going to see some big hemp plants this year because I've got some tricks up my sleeve from those guys at Sustainable Plant. But what they told me was that my nitrogen levels were like right there, like they were high enough where don't add another single ounce of nitrogen is what they told me. And given my numbers, I can see why they were saying that. So yeah, I need to up the P and the K for sure, and the bud density and just the overall flowering. So your phosphorus is going to give you more buds, and your potassium is going to give you nice hardy buds. That's what I've been told. So yeah, definitely need to up the P and the K, drop the N, and I think you'll be closer to compliant, getting closer to that full term, which is going to be difficult in itself. Let's see. Bread is hemp, average 15% THC. Phenotype genetic cutting. That's pretty awesome. 1916. Damn, that's an old ass plant. A lot of work left to stabilize. Yeah, I mean, stabilizing is very tough to do, and making sure that day in and day out in different soils and different things, different conditions, it holds the same cannabinoid profile, which is that's getting it stable. That's why I said these seed providers, is it that stable? Have you tested this thing enough? The story is on there. Need to head over to Bill Pickett's farm and talk to them. Okay, Bill Pickett's farm. Are they on Instagram, Redbeard? If is Bill Pickett on there, or I just got to find him? I can reach out to you for that one. But yeah, I think I think I'm going to do a food experiment. No, it's a website posted above. Posted above. All right, I'll check it out. Let me see here. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna check them out for the food. Yeah, we'll set it up when I have time. Yeah, after the new year for sure. I'll start having some more time. Well, let's set it up. I'd be interested to do some food hemp, um, just because I think it'll be cool to diversify instead of if I can't get CBG, which is my number one goal, is to get CBG genetics. If I can't secure them, which is starting to look pretty damn bleak. Yeah, it's it really depends how well. Even if I get CBG genetics, I got to make sure that they're stable. So I was reading another question from Greystone here. So then, technically speaking, if the feds came and tested my box plant, it would be over the legal limit. Yeah, I mean, if the feds came and tested it, yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it's a gray area, man. Yeah, the USDA hemp laws or rules, final ruling, interim ruling, whatever the hell it is. That's technically the law. But then again, you have the codes, the federal code that says that hemp is defined as zero point 0.3 THC delta 9 on a dry weight basis. So you have two contradicting laws, which is typical. Leave it to Congress to make two different laws and then have the USDA come out and say, no, no, this is how it is. So it's just a mess, and they really need to figure it out. And I think that's what the public comment for is, guys. I mean, that's what it's here for, right? They want to hear from us what we think is wrong, what we think is right. And I just want some damn clarity. I just want some clarity because you have a U.S. code saying otherwise. And that's, yeah. And Redbeard's right, not to jump down. I'm not skipping anybody on purpose, but unfortunately, yeah, the burden of proof will be on the grower. To answer Greystone's question, yeah, so the code of law says 0.3 delta 9 THC dry weight basis. You have the burden of proof if you've been convicted, and you're going to have to go to court, lawyers' fees, so on and so forth. And that goes back to how you interpret it, how you interpret the law. If you interpret the law as, well, it says this, so I'm going to do this, but the one that they're following says this, and they're going to do that. You may be in the right, they may be in the right. It's going to be up to a court to decide the fate. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And I don't want to be in that position, which is why I'm saying that pretty much 2020 is going to be me turning into a hobby grower and, just harvesting early. I'm just going to harvest early, guys. I mean, I probably will be done harvesting the first week of October. And this year I went all the way into the second week of November. We had some cherry wines that went so damn late. It was just like, I think this year I'm just going to harvest early. What I get is what I get. And I'll have to figure out ways to concentrate the CBD. I'm going to have to concentrate the CBD to get my CBD oil up. But then again, I'm not making an FDA kitchen. So I'm just going to become a hobby grower. Sell it to friends and family, friends of friends, good cheap prices, pay for my electric bill in the greenhouse. And I think I'm pretty much going to jump out of the farming side of it. I ain't going to be growing a 3-acre field of it. I can tell you that. So that's pretty much where I land on that. So, the biggest factor, the plant can change depending on how unstable, and your genetics are pretty unstable. Yeah. So that's why I asked if you got your Biox from Triangle Hemp. Those guys have pretty much nailed down the Biox plant. That's the only one they grow, period. They put all their research into this one genetic, and that's all they grow. So their Biox plant is pretty stable. But and I think they put out a memo about it that it runs hot. But North Carolina is saying, well, if it's not over 1% in their USDA pitch, it's not over 1% total, they're not going to bother with it. So if you have all these, and that's going to be another interesting part of the USDA thing. If you take the USDA law and you have all these states putting in for all these different ones, and every single state gets approved for their own USDA hemp plan, do you know what kind of crazy chaos that's going to cause? If you have Virginia saying 0.6 total and your neighboring state of North Carolina saying 1%, it's oh man, it's just a headache. But that's if the USDA approves those plans. They may say, "Screw it, we're not approving anybody, and this is the law of the land." I don't know. I don't know. So again, Greystone, buyer beware, and harvest early is what I will be doing with my Vioxx, and I'll probably end up testing it way early. But again, I plan on being more hobby grower next year, as I kind of was this year. But I was experimenting to see if I was going to grow more. And the end result of that experiment is I am not going to grow more. But I pretty much made that obvious. So yeah, Redbeard answered that. You know, burden of proof is on you, and unfortunately, that's the way it works. Did you end up with any keef once you trimmed up? Yeah, I do have some keef. Yeah, I did. Not a ton. Not a ton. But if anybody's interested, let me know. I mean, I don't know what to do much with the keef. I still been planning on making some bubble hash, and doing some of that stuff. So I'm just, I just haven't had the time. I did trim up some more Biox, and I did get some keef. I just gotta, I gotta do something with it. I don't know what exactly I'm gonna do with it. I guess put it on the flour. But yeah, everything's been moving slow, so I'm not, I haven't been really doing anything with the keef. But I do have some, and actually, I have this attachment to the. Somebody had mentioned to me, I don't remember if it was on Instagram or on YouTube. I think it was YouTube. Had said that you can't get keef with the trim bag, and that actually is not true. So to get all totally off topic and talk about keef for a second, the trim bag, they bought a company. It was called the Swag Bagger. They bought out the company because I talked to the owner. So they bought the company, and the Swag Bagger has a screen just like the trim bin. And when you go to dump your stuff, all of your keef sits on that little screen. So for everybody who says that the trim bag wastes keef is totally wrong. Totally wrong. You just got to get the attachment for it. And so this person was talking about Tom's Tumbler, which I looked at. If you're looking for bulk trimming, and Tom's Tumbler trim bag, both great products. Problem is Tom's Tumbler didn't want to do a deal with me, and I don't really know if that was even possible. I'm not trying to trash them, but the other thing is they're way more expensive than trim bag. You're talking the cheapest Tom's Tumbler is like $400. And you can usually get the trim bag for a lot less than that. So I think the trim bag I've seen it on sale for $280 before. I think they did it again for Christmas. But either way, I have a trim bag. No, it doesn't waste keef. Yes, I have keef, Redbeard, to answer your question short. I'm not sure what to do with it because I personally don't smoke hemp flower. I take CBD oil on occasion. But I'm not a big smoker in general. I had asthma when I was a kid, so it's not really like I really don't want it back. So I don't do a lot of smoking, but I do have CBD oil. I do like that. Plus, I'm in the Coast Guard, so I got to be careful with my intake of CBD to begin with, because it can cause those false positives. Let's see. So many products you can create with regular hemp. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff I can make with hemp. Hemp moon rocks. Yeah. Red Beard had mentioned making hemp moon rocks when we met up a couple weeks ago, and I take some keef off your hands. Yeah, I mean, if I can't find anywhere for it, then be more than willing to give some up. I like to experiment with stuff. One of the things I thought about using the keef for, and I don't know if it's a waste or not, is adding it to a batch of CBD oil. So really making potent CBD oil, because the money is with the CBD oil. Now, am I going to go ahead and have an FDA approved kitchen and do all this stuff? Absolutely not. It's not worth my time. But the few people that buy it, I tell them it's not made in an FDA kitchen, folks. Bottom line, it's made with a magic butter machine. It's infused MCT oil. That's what it is. But it works. I mean, I've had so many people come back to me. At least, like, off the top of my head, I know of 5 people that have tried our Biox strain. So, Greystone, you want to listen to this one? Our Biox strain CBD oil has been an absolute hit. People love it. They absolutely love it. Now, the cherry wine, people have said it's good, but if they've had the Biox, they will not. They just want that one. They just want Biox CBD oil. It's been a rock star when it comes to making CBD oil. Just because it's 20% CBD in the flower, but it's just having a really good effect for people that have chronic pain. They're not sleeping well. They take some of that. It is an anxiety. Everybody that's had different things, they've all said that the Biox CBD oil has worked the best. And the cherry wine works. But man, everybody's been loving the Biox, which is cool because I love hearing back good stuff about it. Positive feedback is good. I always like hearing negative too, because I can change the recipe. But nobody's given me any excuse to change my Biox CBD recipe, which is great. And you can actually find the recipe that I use my Biox for on the channel. I want to press CBD rosin. Yeah, Greystone Diamond Press was in the chat earlier. Now he does presses where you can press CBD. So hit him up. Yeah, I'm going to try to do some rosin, but again, if I'm going to become a hobby grower, I'll get a regular job, and do the hobby growing thing, and then I can buy all the fun toys. But right now, I'm still acting as a business, so I've got to weigh my positives and negatives when it comes to buying that stuff. And the press right now is just so expensive, and the retail market just isn't there yet. But yeah, I do want to do some CBD rosin. So you can add keef to oil. Sweet. Well, thanks for answering that question for me. Yeah, I've been back and forth whether to add it to the CBD oil, but because it's so concentrated of CBD, I figured it would be so yeah. So I think it's a great idea on paper to do the keef to the CBD oil. I just want to know, like, I got to figure out how much to add to where it's a value. Like, is it more valuable in the oil or is it more valuable selling these moon rocks? That's where I kind of feel like with keef. Sorry, I lost my thought there for a minute, but yeah. So I had to actually, one of the comments I had to adjust because YouTube made me adjust it, but yeah. So back to your point. So keef can be added to oil. That's awesome. Greystone, yes, the Biox has been the number one thing that people ask for. They don't know it's Biox. They just say that batch of CBD oil. Because I tell them, like, oh, this is batch 1, batch 2. And I have the recipes in the book. And I say, okay, well, this one was Biox and this one was cherry wine. And it's been hands down Biox over everything else. Greystone, I have one made off eBay. Huh. Sweet. Well, I think somebody else, or maybe it was you, Greystone. Yeah, it was. You said you made one in the last chat, and I went over to your channel. I need to. We need to get up, and I got to figure out maybe how I can make one. And remember, you said we could make one for like $400, and that's might be doable for me to do it, and then I could start making CBD rosin, which will be sweet. So I'm as soon as I slow down with these holiday stuff, and we need to get together via email or whatever and figure out how I can make one of these presses. Redbeard, don't do a video with diamond press. It'll ghost the shit out of you. Well, I don't want to get. Yeah. Hey, man, the hemp industry is full of ghosts. That's all I can say. There's a ghost here, a ghost there. I can't. I think for every time somebody says they're going to call or text or email or something, it's like a one for three. I'm hitting 300. That's just the way it is. That's just the industry. Curious Cannabis, you made your press too, man. I'm becoming a mechanical engineer. I don't know. I know it's a hydraulic press. I know it's 2 plates, and I know you need like a bag to put it in. So I just need to get my button gear with that. I just need to build one. Let's see. You didn't make a video of it? Okay, because I went over there and I looked and I didn't see one, so I didn't know if you were like in the process of making a video, Greystone. So I didn't, and then just of course with the holidays, everything just spirals out, and then next thing you know, it's already after Christmas. But I will try to hit you up for maybe like a basic necessities of what I need to build one of these things. Scott Redbeard. Mechanicsville, yeah. So, Scott, are you from Virginia? I think you already said you were. I don't know. My memory's not what it used to be, I guess. Curious Canvas. All right, man. You're out of here. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, Scott, you are in Virginia. That's what I thought you said. I couldn't remember. Whereabouts in Virginia are you located? Redbeard, we can build it together. Yeah, we should. We should build one together, or we can at least build 2 of them, so we we can both sit there and try to figure out how to build it. Scott, Spotsylvania, Fredericksburg. Okay, all right, I know where that is. Yeah, you're up towards the Northern Virginia area. Yeah, Scott? Are you gonna end up trying to grow this year? That'd be interesting to know if you're gonna start growing. Redbeard, and then make a video of it. Well, Redbeard, yeah, I want to make one. I'm not, I stay away from the feuds. Diamond Press, him and I don't have anything against him, but I understand being ghosted. It sucks. Just being ghosted sucks. Because you make these plans to do things with people in this industry, and it's just like, nah, I'm not going to do it. No, just pick up the phone and say, I can't do it today. They just don't say anything, and they disappear. But I've had that with seed companies. I've had that with nutrient companies. I've had that with, in every aspect of hemp, I have had it. What the weird thing is sometimes they'll ghost you, and then 2 months later, they're like, oh, hey. Hey. Come on, man. You hey me? It's been 2 months. We were supposed to talk to each other. So, yeah. I realize that things get busy, but if you have an actual set up time to do something and it just ghosts, it's like, dude, don't hey me 2 months later. Like, but then they ended up being like, oh, I'm so sorry. Or then sometimes they're just like, oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, well. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So Scott, yeah, you are going to grow. Yep, word to the wise, just be careful. With all the regulations, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you heard of it. But speaking of Virginia, and I'll get to Greystone in a minute. Redbeard, that's because you have got 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. Again, I've been thanking my subs all stream, and I'll thank them again. We just hit 1,500. We put our application in for monetization. We'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to see how it ends up. If we don't get monetized because of whatever, they usually give you 30 days to adjust your channel. So you may see some changes on the channel in the next 30 days, depending on if they say you need to do this, this, this. I don't know how this whole process works, but our application is now in. So we will see if we do get monetized, which I hope I do, because it would mean revenue stream for the farm. And I think that would kind of solidify me just becoming more of the large hobby grower, large in a plant sense. 50 plants is a lot for a hobby. Most hobby growers grow 6 to 10. But yeah, so Scott, awesome. Glad you're growing. Good luck this grow season. And always feel free to email me if you have any questions. I can maybe try to help. Always try to work with other growers. I try to maintain a positive attitude towards all growers until they burn me. And then if they burn me, I don't talk to them ever again. But I don't see that happening with you, Scott. And I appreciate you trying to grow, and I can always send you up a cutting or two. Not a big problem at all. Like I said, I always like working with people, especially locally here in Virginia. I've even had growers in Virginia purchase hemp flower recently just because they wanted to support the farm, because they were asking me so many questions. I mean, like I said, I enjoy talking to everybody and having good relationships. Greystone is just shop press plus heat plates, power supply. That's the press. Everything else is extra. Parchment pouches and tools. I literally got everything, and all I need is off eBay. So essentially, all you did was just do that and purchase it off eBay and make it. That's pretty sweet, man. I hope I'm that crafty. I feel like I'm going to try to do this without any guidance, and I'm going to fail miserably. But I can always make a video out of it, I suppose, and then maybe somebody could comment how I could fix it. I've never been super crafty. Like, I'm crafty in a sense where, like, if I'm put in a position where I need to fix something, I usually can pull a rabbit out of my hat. But when I have to, like, sit down and build something, I don't know. I can't do it. Like, for instance, like, I'll be out on a boat, the motor will break down, and I can figure out how to get that motor to start and get home. But if I sit on a bench and I got to build something, I'm out. So that's just, I don't know why that is the case. I'm like on the fly mechanic, on the fly builder. When I have to actually sit down and design something, I usually fail miserably. That's just the way it is. I mean, I've grown up on boats. That's why I use it as a reference. Being a Coast Guard captain, like, if something goes wrong on the boat, whether it's like a gas line breaks or I've got a tool and a tube, I can fix it, I'm done. But again, I can't, for some reason, I can't sit down and actually, like, build it without instructions. I'm one of those people that need to have instructions. And even then I fail half the time. But I do have great ideas sometimes. Like with the greenhouse, I do all the reinforcement stuff with the beams and all that. But I'll give it a shot. What the hell? I mean, I know the basic necessities to build this press. It's essentially a hydraulic press with 2 metal plates to squeeze. So maybe I can do it. I don't know. I got to have a little bit more confidence in myself to do it. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Keef is one of those things, that I could be using. Rosin. I need to really start expanding a little bit. I know I've been itching to do some bubble hash. So these are the kind of things that I just need to start doing. And I think I will in the new year. And as the product slowly hasn't been moved, I feel like in the new year, the product is going to just slow to an absolute halt, because it's not the holiday season anymore. People were buying gifts for their friends and stuff like that. So I need to really expand my horizons. Rosin, keef, moonstone rocks, all that stuff. Greystone, if you can do Legos, you can do it. I appreciate the encouragement. I can do Legos if they have instructions. But yeah, no, I think I have the general idea. I don't think I'm giving myself enough credit, but I need to sit down and do it. I think I will. I know January is going to be a really busy month for me, personal life wise. So I think I'll have to probably make it in February. I probably will sit down and start looking at pieces and start pricing everything out of what I think I need, and I'm sure there's got to be a YouTube video on how to build one of these things. But then build it and then start making some rosin. Because I'd like to pretty much, if most of my flower isn't gone by the spring, I'm probably just going to start getting rid of it. For either really cheap or, just get rid of it. Start making oil, selling that, or selling it off for dirt cheap. So I don't, who knows? But I do want to play around with it before any of that happens. So yeah, I got to make a rosin press and make bubble hash and do everything else, and it's just time is of the essence. So I'm looking at some of my notes here. See what else I got here. We talked about all the USDA stuff again, guys. If you didn't know, it all got extended to January, which is a good sign, I guess. Greystone, I watched a bunch of videos of people building them, and it was like, I can do that. I need to do that. I need to watch videos and tell myself I can do it. And that's how I think I'll get it done. That's why I'm like setting a goal. By February, I want to start the process of building one of these. I know January is just going to be a crazy month for me. I think personal life-wise, I usually have a lot of stuff going on in January. And then February and March, like nothing's going on. So I'm planning on doing quite a bit in February, and the rosin press is up there, along with hunting for CBG. But we know how that's probably going to end up. A slow boat to nowhere. That's what that is. Let's see. USDA, we got that. Retail, future farm stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered most of the topics today. If anybody's worried about my plants outside, they're doing great. I had them on a live stream last week. They were inside because we had a super cold weather, but now they are outside living life. They're doing great. So I'm happy to finally have them back outside. They actually went outside Christmas Eve before I had guests over. Of course, everybody wants to see them, so that we go out to the greenhouse anyway. I think that's it. I mean, I think I got everything covered, and we've had a great discussion today, guys. Chats have been awesome. You guys have any questions? I'm going to look over my notes real quick, and I think I'm probably going to head on out of here. It's almost 4:00, and I got stuff to do around the farm, and yeah, the wife will get home. So I think that's pretty much it, man. And in Virginia news, got to bounce. Hit me up with the Keith Price when you get time. Yeah, Redbeard. Yeah, I'll get in touch with you. We need to meet up anyways. I know we've been trying to do that. Everything's been so busy. I promise. After the first of the year, I will be more available. And if you sent me an email, just hold on, man. I'm just hold on. I know you're there. I'm not ignoring you. I just like to put a lot of thought in my emails. I don't like to send off an email and be like, yeah, thanks for the email. But yeah, thanks for coming by, Redbeard. I will hit you up, and I know we need to meet sometime in the near future. So definitely after the first of the year, for sure. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think I'm going to wrap up everything. It's been a fun live stream. Thank you all for showing up and participating in the chat. And we just had a lot of fun today. And I really enjoy these live streams. I know I will be getting back to the editing room. I will have videos dropping throughout the week. I try to do one every Tuesday and Friday, but I've been doing live streams on Friday. So, but that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. Again, feel free to send me an email with questions, comments, concerns, and fingers crossed that we get monetized. So y'all take care. Again, if you need to reach me, Instagram, Facebook, I will leave those links in the description of the video. And of course, you can always email me at yorkrivercannabis@gmail.com. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and Happy New Year, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.